All right, we're getting started today. Uh, uh, I am still working on the PE cough visualization tool for the Handmade Network Wheel Reinvention Jam, and I've already been programming for like an hour and a half this morning. Got a lot of stuff kind of halfway working already. Just for people who are checking it out for the first time, the tool looks like this. You can open up an object file and look at its sections and its symbols. You can open up a DLL, look at its sections. What I was just adding this morning that's mostly done is you can look at the exports from a DLL. So that's what we're doing. I'm kind of locked in on getting a lot done right now. So I'm going to be sitting here. If there's anyone in chat who wants to ask questions, and by the way, thanks for letting me know that the sound wasn't working a minute ago. But if anyone sends me a question, I'll sit and chat. But for the most part, I'm locked in and programming, so I'm probably not going to chat a lot about what I'm doing. A lot of this is sort of rote, like moving stuff into the parser and then using the parser to visualize. But a little later, we might do some more stuff. Like if I show you, I do have a problem right now. Like if I open something big like the dump OBJ and I look at its symbols, it's got more than enough symbols to go off the end of the page, and I don't have scrolling on the tables yet. So I want to work a little bit more on the tables as well. So we'll get to that in a minute. Hey there. like this. We'll do it like this. Nice. So I can now see all these import strings. That's cool. Nice. Nice. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and calm down. I was pretty deep into getting some big code moves finished, but I think now we should be able to sit and chat and think about what to do next for a minute. So it's not. It doesn't say here, but I think the first big thing to do is I want to get scrolling working again. How do I want to write this? Okay. What I don't get is when does the scroll max get set? How is that? Oh, you know what? I guess that probably got deleted. So we're gonna have to set that. Mm-hmm. Okay, here are the things that are broken. First of all, the table's grid lines aren't scrolling like they should be, so we should fix that. And second, I want the table header to stay put, so that's going to be a little bit tricky and interesting on its own as well. Okay, here's the thing. I've not made a very sophisticated UI system here. Everything is kind of just coupling itself to everything else as I build it. And I don't want to get bogged down for the next day building a proper UI system. So I'm trying to think of what's the nicest little tweak here. One option is to say that X and Y in the layout is in just an undesirable way to structure this. That should just always start off as 0. And when I go to use those, first of all, you'll notice I don't even use layout X anywhere in this routine. But layout Y should just start off as 0, and then I'll add in the offset, which is rect.y0 minus view y everywhere. And then view y will have to be passed down through the layout. I could also just pass view y into the layout in the first place. I think that's the right thing to do, because then the final step would be to stop initializing this here and let layout y be initialized internally as part of the trick, but then that comes out. Okay. Okay, so the lines are better now. Ooh, I still want to fix this. Yeah, the table is getting there. Does home and end still work? Okay, so ends took me too far down. I gotta fix that. Page up and page down are working, but I'm allowed to scroll way past the end now. Buzztronic. This is not an Emacs distro, although it is inspired by Emacs. It's 4Coder. 4Coder.net. There's the Discord. Here's the place where you can download binaries. Here's the community fork where an open source version is maintained that you can get and build from source. And if you follow the channel, some weeks, this week I'm not doing it, but some weeks I do 4Coder Fridays where we go into the code and talk about it and talk about what we would do better in a future iteration of the text editor. All right, so this is all looking pretty good. I want to fix that scroll height thing. Nah. Okay, there's the bottom now. Hmm. Ah, this is getting nasty. There we go. I'm trying to think of how I want to mark the header is looking slightly different. Do I want to give it a different background color? Do I want to like render like, do I want to go like this or something? Good question. Tanaj asks, when you're making this GUI, would you describe it as from scratch, or are you able to reuse stuff from other projects? This is very much from scratch. All I'm reusing is this helper that I've already set up in my code base. So this helper lets me like put down rectangles and strings onto the screen. So I can put text and rectangles onto the screen. I can make rounded rectangles and outlines and line segments and I can use the text system to make icons. So all of that is just sort of built into my code base. But I don't have a very reusable UI system, and I am not one to usually spend a lot of time. A good reusable UI system is a lot of work, and even at their best, I've never seen a good reusable UI system that can really be reused painlessly. What I end up doing is making bespoke UI systems. Like I build the data structure for whatever application I'm working on that ties into the UI. So for instance, we are doing this table display thing, right? Table display. So I have a table data structure, and I just say, hey, I want to be able to interact with this table, and I build a UI interaction for that data structure directly. And that's not super reusable because this data structure is going to be very particular to the application I'm making. If you go the route of trying to make reusable UI stuff, you make like box systems and layout systems and stuff, you can decrease the amount of UI work that I would have to be doing right now. But on the flip side, you end up having to do, that's like a month or more to construct a really good one of those, and the distance between the result you get from that in terms of how much extra compute is being done, as well as how well tuned the final result is to exactly what you had in mind, can actually still be a bit larger than you might expect. Like, it is hard to get down to what you can achieve when you just do bespoke every time. It does take a lot more effort and practice to do it this way, so I don't think that, like, I'm not recommending that everyone should always do this. I think UI systems that you reuse are good. It's just not what I do. Okay, there we go. Still don't quite like the color, but we're getting there. Yeah, I very often am working on, like, I don't even know what the best UI idea is. I'm iterating, and it's a lot easier to do that with low baggage. If you kind of know, like, okay, we're trying to make these forms, and we're trying to run it through this algorithm, like, ingest data this way and run it through these algorithms to process the data and spit it out with this visualization. If that's known, and it's just a matter of putting those pieces together, then using pre-built UIs is good. There's also, like, if you're building a debugger, for instance, we worked on the debugger at rad/epic, and we ended up doing our own UI system just because, like, me and Ryan are both the type to do our own UI system, so why not? But that was more of a reusable UI system. Like, there's a lot of UI work to get done there, and so because there needs to be so much UI, like there's going to be text views and there's going to be table views and there's going to be listers of things, and there's going to be browsers and there's going to be file explorers, I mean, and there's going to be disassembly views and so on and so on. There's so many different things, memory views. They're all going to be kind of different. There's going to be tooltips and right clicks and all the basic stuff all over the place, drop down menus. Once you know you're doing so many different types of UI all in the same program, going reusable is nice. Just that there, even if you're not going to use it in different programs, just because you need to sort of make a bunch of mini UIs, and so it can be nice to just kind of make those more reusable. Okay, we're almost done. There's a little issue. Do you see how it's highlighting both the header and the cell at the same time? I can't have that. It needs to know which one it's hitting. So to interact with a cell, it's not good enough to hit the layout rect. We actually need to hit the we need to hit the cell without hitting the header to get it. So let's do it that way. And then we need to be able to scroll down. And there we go. Now, there we go. Okay, so if I scroll to the top, I can still see the first one. That's only because I've kind of hacked it. I should, at some point, if I'm serious about this program over the long run, I should actually do a lot of cleanup on the stuff I've hacked together here. But it's nice to have things up and running, so I can explore the ideas of the UI itself. And the main data structure is still the same. It's just that the code structures for converting from the internal data structure to the interactive experience is not as good as it could be yet. Okay, so what do we want to be doing next? Let's see, stream has been live for about an hour. Nice. Okay, so it's cool how I can see all the symbols. But I have to scroll through them like this, and what good is that to me? What I probably want to be able to do is when I have a table view up here, I probably want to be able to filter. Like I want to be able to say like, you know, I'm going to right click on these things and sort and search by different pieces and filter on things and stuff. So how could that work? I could say, for instance, I'm looking at this and I'm going like, all right, I'm actually only interested in right click section 7, type a 7, enter, and then this would zoom in on section 7 being the main text section of my object file here with 92 kilobytes of data. We could also build out the header view. That reminds me, I didn't do this part. Nice. Okay, so go for the header. That could be good. Could also try to go for like the hex view. In order to do the things I want to do with these, we will actually have to upgrade the parser to have more information than what it has right now. And also to do file diagnostics, we're going to need to finish converting the dumper into a parser. So maybe that's what we should do for now. Is just let's just do that. we go. So that puts us at now. This PE parsing is a total disaster. Probably the next step that I should take is to refactor that. If I was thinking about this in terms of the long-term project of the binary file deep dive. For the jam, it might be kind of a sidetrack, but it might also pay off. I still think if I don't do that, I'm not going to be able to do a very good job at things like diagnostics information, and I'm also not going to be able to upgrade it to be able to do stuff like this minimap, file hex, sections, mapping stuff. So if I do want to build these features, which I think would make it a lot better, then I do need to, and if I want to build this feature, which I think would be one of the big use cases of this tool, let me do a sidetrack to answer a question. Yeah, Helium knows how it works. You're gonna have to sign in once you've become a member. You can sign in to the MrForth.com website and request a Git account for git.mrforth.com, and it'll give you a one-time password, and then you'll reset your password, and then you can go in and like set up your real username and stuff from there. So basically, you just got to sign into MrForth.com, and if your membership is supposed to have access to, if your account is supposed to be a member account and have access to the Git, and you don't already have a Git set up, there'll be a button to automatically set it up for you and give you the credentials by email to get started. If that doesn't work, then do email me at accounts@mrforth.com, and I'll take a look at what happened. I've never had anyone have any issues with it before, but you know, there's a first time for everything. In fact, since you're asking, I'll go and check out what's going on right now. So just to be sure, you got the membership and not the support tier, right? Source access is available at the member tier. The if you're signed in, it'll let you upgrade without charging you more than the difference. But going from yearly to monthly might be a problem. So, yeah. But thanks. I do appreciate you going and checking out the support system, membership system. It means a lot. I am still still looking for more people to join in to keep this thing going, because while we've got a good amount started, it's going to be a long haul, so the more people who take a look, the better. So, just getting close to lunchtime, and I'm feeling like maybe I'm too hungry to think straight. I do think it's probably best if I take a break from working on this thing for the rest of today so that I can go and work on the mapping stuff. So here's a thing that's going on right now is like exports just give you a name and a virtual offset. None of them are forwarders right now. And I don't have anything that like map virtual offsets through to other things, right? So in theory, I should be able to take a virtual offset and ask, what section number is this? What's the offset into that section number, right? I should be able to analyze a virtual offset, but I don't have anything like that. And I would want to be able to like create a split pane thing where I've got here over here is my exports table, and then here over here we've got the sections layout. Not this one, this is the sections table, but like the visual layout of the file as a set of sections, and then map those into those. That's going to require building out the mapping data structures and stuff. And so I think I can't do any more good visualization unless I take a big step back and build up more of my data structures. And that's going to start with making the parser better. So I think we need to do a planning session, and I don't feel like doing a planning session on an empty stomach right now. My head doesn't have the juice for it. So I'm going to say this is the end of part 1. I'm going to come back in 30 minutes to an hour. I'm not sure exactly when, but keep an eye out. Sometime once I've had a little chance to rest and get some food, I'll come back for a little bit longer today and plan out the data structures and parsing changes and stuff that need to happen. Because I think that's the most important thing that should come next. So with that, I will wrap up for this morning, and I'll hopefully see y'all later. Bye.